Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Let's talk a little bit about wormholes, shall we? Wormholes are some of the more less talked about items in Don't Starve Together, as they're not really an item, but more so a portal into another dimension. Essentially speaking, when you travel through the wormhole, you're going to lose a little bit of sanity, but that's not that big of a deal because you kind of lose sanity at the cost of none other than traveling really fast. The thing about wormholes is sometimes you get lost where you're going. I use a mod called Wormhole Markers. It's available on the workshop, and I've showcased it multiple times on my mods videos on YouTube. As you can see, I traveled from point A to point B, and now on my map, it's actually showcased that there is indication that they are the red wormhole markers. So if I go over to the next one, which is not too far away over here, the same thing will happen, and it'll showcase exactly where I need to go from there. But for the sake of this video, I'm actually going to travel as some other character. As much as I love Wilson, I want to travel around as Wartox just because I want to be able to get from a few different points a little bit faster, and to showcase wormholes a little bit quicker as well. So let's give myself a little bit of souls, and let's travel around each different wormhole so you can kind of get an idea of how I like to kind of justify if this world is exactly where I want to live or not. So let's give myself some souls, specifically fill myself up with full 14. Let's give ourselves some miner hats just so in case it's nighttime, which it is, and let's see where I want to live. So hypothetically, if I wanted to make a base right here, there's really no wormholes close by, but as I travel around and look around a little bit, yeah, there's nothing close. So is that a bad thing? Not necessarily. But in the actual case of me living maybe over in this area, is there anything over here? Still nothing. There is inside the pig biome, however, so let's go see where this wormhole in the pig biome leaves us. Traveling through, we are now able to mark another set on our map, and keep in mind, this is not the normal way of doing so. If you actually have a wormhole, if you don't want to actually map your wormholes inside of Don't Starve Together, you can of course use a mod like I said, or you can actually reskin them now using a clean sweeper. As Clay actually gave us a bunch of different wormhole markers, sorry, a bunch of different wormhole skins for Don't Starve Together that you can actually change them, so I can showcase that right now as well, just to kind of, you know, if this is something that you are looking to do. So as I right click on that, it changes it to a different kind of looking thing, which you kind of look at and say, okay, now I know that if I'm going through this portal, it's going to bring me to here, and on and on and on and on. Now, I really like wormhole markers. I think it's really easy. I don't think it's that big of a mod that really affects the game too much, as it just basically reminds you, hey, this wormhole goes to here, here. And I mean, some people might mark that as cheating, but in my mind, it's not a big deal. But anyways, let's move on to from the whole mod situation and just focus on why I think that wormholes should be in a good, important spot when it comes to a world and Don't Starve Together. Okay, so as you travel around and you look at different wormholes, you're going to notice, okay, if I decided to live here, it's not a big deal, as I'm surrounded by bees, the bee queen's really close by, and I am a little bit close to where meteors could possibly hit. So maybe it's not the best option to live here. A lot of these wormholes on this map are unfortunately really close to different biomes that I'm not really a big fan of, and they don't really go anywhere specific. So I probably would even consider regenerating this world. But, like I said, it's entirely up to you, so it depends on where you want to live and what you want to do inside this world. But having the wormhole markers on, at least for the very first start of your world, and then turning it on after, or turning it off after, is not a bad idea at all. But ideally, what you want to do is when you find a wormhole that actually works for you, you want to basically think about it and say, look, if this wormhole at the very beginning, where I'm probably going to set up a base, goes directly to, for example, the D-Fly Desert, the Pig King, or maybe a biome that gives you a lot of resources, that might be a good wormhole to actually go through and base around, because it's nice to get a lot of resources and be able to have an easy route to something that gives you a lot of accessibility. I usually like to actually base around where there's a portal that goes towards the Pig King, because the Pig King is very annoying to get to all the time, especially if you have to go back and get Glommer, and you have to get, you know, more trinkets in exchange for gold from the Pig King. So having a wormhole that goes directly to the Pig King, which is always a case because there is generally a wormhole inside of the pig biome, sorry, in the Pig King biome, but sometimes there isn't if you get a little bit unlucky. So this will kind of give you like a little bit of a blueprint as to where you want to base in Don't Starve Together. So just kind of look around for your wormholes and see if they work for you. I, for one, do not like the setup for this world, so I'm going to regenerate it anyways and say sayonara to this world. But like I said, if you want to use wormhole markers, it's a free mod on the workshop and it works great. And then you can always disable it after if you don't want anybody yelling at you for using any mods. But that's it for me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.